I can do anything for love, but I won't.
Welcome to the GearJunkie Weekly Roundup, where we talk about the week's most pressing headlines. Today, it's just me and Sean.
Howdy.
The Laurel and Hardy of the outdoors. Does that work for you, by the way?
I don't really know because I'm not very familiar with that show, but sure, why not?
Okay, terrific. So, Sean, are you ready? We're going to run through a few of the stories we published this week, hand-selected because they are interesting conversations.
I love it. Let's do this thing.
All right, cool. So a story we published today, Zwift and UCI announced the first virtual cycling championships. This was announced on Thursday, and essentially, UCI, the world governing body for cycling, came to an agreement with Zwift, this virtual platform where you hook up your indoor bike trainer and then race against people. They're going to have actual professional championship races on stationary bikes. What do you think?
I mean, when you think about the world of gaming and how big that is, there are all kinds of professional people in the gaming community. It's almost like a Venn diagram between that and the cycling / fitness community. I don't know how big that Venn diagram crosses, but I think Zwift is about to find out.
I mean, as the editor-in-chief of an outdoors publication, what is your gut reaction to we're going to sanction people staying indoors and riding a trainer?
Oh man, that's really tough for me to think about because I personally don't have a lot of interest in that level and that type of fitness, but that doesn't mean that a lot of people don't. I think a lot of people really are into that, and it could improve a lot of the fitness community, I suppose.
I don't know. So the argument to be made for it is that it increases accessibility because it is expensive to get a racing bike. It is expensive to travel to some of these locations and take part on a UCI sanctioned course. So it does open up cycling to a demographic that otherwise might not be able to afford it, and I think that's pretty cool. Also, worth noting, the Zwift CEO promised that unlike a lot of professional racing, there will be total parity, total equality between men and women when it comes to available races, prize purses, and all of it, which is amazing because anybody that has followed professional cycling is aware that it's lagged woefully behind the times when it comes to gender equality.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And I'm happy to see that happening from the get-go in this community that, from the beginning, it's going to have that equal footing. I think that's awesome.
What if it was indoor skiing championships? Would you be on board with that?
How would you indoor ski?
Dude, there's your $1 million idea.
I mean, there are indoor
gaming is everything.
There are indoor skiing facilities and there are indoor skiing trainers. I don't know how you'd turn that into a competition.
What if it was just like Nordic roller skiing?
Indoors?
Sure.
Like on a Nordic track kind of deal?
No. Like on those roller skis where people pull down on the bike path.
Going around and around on one of the velodromes?
Taking up both lanes with their roller skis.
I'm just going to switch this around. How about roller skiing on a velodrome?
Yeah, no, I'm all for it, dude. I'm all for it.
I feel like I think having so much connectivity in the world and so much technology is a little bit, I don't know, I find it a little disheartening sometimes. I'm kind of just tired of always being on a screen and always having to be connected. That said, I think if you live in a condo in a city and aren't able to get out and ride your bike outdoors a lot, if you're not able to get to competitions, it would be really cool to be able to be part of a community where you can, basically your wattage, I guess, would be measured against other people, and that's how the competition goes.
Yeah, they make smart trainers now, so it registers when you're going up a hill, and it adds resistance according to the grade, and it knows when you're behind someone else, so it lowers resistance because you're in a slipstream. I mean, it's cool. It's undeniably cool. I just am kind of conflicted. It's kind of like e-bikes, right, where it's easy to be a purist and say, oh, this sucks. This isn't the way I learned to do it. But if it helps people get on board and into a sport that otherwise wouldn't, I guess my one concern is that people would stop at Zwift. All I do is ride on Zwift. That would be heartbreaking because then they'd still drive a car.
Yeah. Huh. That's fascinating. But so you were a bicycling racer.
That's what we call ourselves too, cyclist.
Cyclist or a bikeist.
Yeah, I'm a bikeist. Thanks.
Yeah. How did that?
I hate bikes.
as a bike racer previously, I don't know, you're not racing these days, my understanding.
Still in racing shape.
Still in racing shape, right off the couch. How do you think this would compare to racing in person?
Not the same. It's not. It's there's a buzz, there's an energy when you're, and I was doing track racing, and it wasn't like Cat 1 or Cat 2. But I was around Cat 1 and Cat 2 folks. I was riding on the same velodrome, and when your ass is on the line, like, and if you fall on a velodrome, it hurts a lot. There's that added element, and it's tangible and palpable. And there's shit talking, and it's, nah, man, it is not. I'm sorry, it's not the same at all. The physical sensation, yeah, probably my thighs would be just as tired, but it is nowhere near. I don't think anybody that's playing Madden feels like, insert modern professional football player name here, right? Like suiting up, putting on the pads, wearing the helmet, and crouching down on the line of scrimmage is not the same as being at home on like a Madden tournament.
Mm-hmm. But in a lot of ways, this will be closer to suiting up and actually doing it because you are going to be sweating. You are going to physically be exerting. Maybe it's closer to playing a Wii.
I don't know. It's closer to jumping rope inside. Oh, Kirk. Okay, so Kirk is telling us we're going to move on.
Enough of us on this one.
It's too interesting.
I think it's
topic.
fascinating.
Okay,
like
topic number 2.
All right.
Our contributor, Craig Becker, really, really cool guy, great author, did an interview with Adrian Bollinger, who recently summited K2 without supplemental oxygen, which is amazing. Read it on GearJunkie. The headline is Adrian Bollinger will never go back to K2. Here's why. And that was a big part of the interview, and it's why I wanted to talk about it, is this is one of the preeminent mountaineers alive today. And he refuses to go back to K2 because he says it's not worth the risk. And as somebody who has zero aspiration of going up K2, much less any other mountain, what would anything ever compel you? Because K2, and you probably know more about it than I do, but K2 is a gnarly peak.
It's one of the most dangerous in the world. I personally don't blame him at all, and I'm always surprised that anybody would really want to climb K2.
Because why?
It's so dangerous. I mean, there are so many objective hazards that it doesn't matter how good you are at climbing mountains. The mountain still is going to have a pretty good chance of killing you just by being there. And I mean, Adrian Bollinger is that person. He's such an expert. He's so good at climbing. And yet even he is saying, that's too dangerous. And in my mind, it makes a lot of sense. The thing I wonder is, and I think he alludes to this, is that there are currently commercial outfits that are taking people up K2. And that just seems a little terrifying when the world's best aren't even willing to do it.
Yeah, and Adrian owns Alpenglow Expeditions, right? I think that's his guide service outfitter. And he says they're not going back. It's just, and this is in an era when any Yahoo with enough money can write a check and then stand in line to walk up Everest, right? I don't mean to put down Everest. Obviously, it's still the highest point on Earth, and it's a demanding physical toll. But realistically, and we've seen it this year, it's a total commercial operation. It's a total outfit. And K2 is, like you're saying, it's one of those places where it really doesn't matter how well equipped you are, what you have. If the mountain decides it's not having it, that's your ass.
Yep. I mean, and that's the case on any mountain.
I wouldn't say any mountain.
Really, any given day, any mountain could conceivably kill you, no matter who you are. It doesn't care. And, even smaller peaks, Colorado, whatnot, a lot of people are killed on them. But the risk factor just goes up and up and up astronomically when you start looking at mountains like K2.
Yeah, I've never been more scared than when I was at the top of a 14er and I saw lightning.
Yeah.
It was
so.
It was a unique fear.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely realistic. And I find it interesting that also he has the humility to say, I'm not going back there.
That's legit, yeah. Yeah, he made no qualms about it. You should read about it on GearJunkie. Again, that's Craig Becker's story. Adrian Bollinger will never go back to K2. Here's why. All right, let's bump to our third headline from the week. This one was your story, buddy. You got a chance to write, which happens few and far between these days. I know how that feels.
Yeah.
The Phi Dog Collar Review. Find Your Pup with GPS. Can you shape up what exactly this thing is?
Yeah, it's and this intrigued me because it's kind of a confluence of technology and the oldest technology I can think of, which is a collar for a dog. And basically it allows you to find your dog as long as you have cell phone service, and it shows you where your dog is on your phone. It's that simple in a lot of ways, but it's also a really complex piece of technology because it works through GPS and through cell phone service. the simplest way to describe it is if you open up your phone, look at it. There's a map, just the one that everybody's familiar with, Google Maps diagram of the world, and wherever your dog is, there is a blue spot.
Did you like it?
I do like it. It's a little bit odd in a lot of ways because it sort of low jacks you because
that was super interesting. Yeah,
wherever you are, your dog is often. If you're at the same place your dog is, the world or some piece of technology is tracking you. And so it
through your dog, yeah, because you
your
usually
dog.
are where your dog is.
Yeah, it definitely feels a little strange and invasive, but at the same time, I mean, I'm not trying to hide my location, and it's not public either. That's the other. It's not like the world knows where you are. But if you share it with other people, they can also kind of track you and your dog all the time.
You've got a little bit of prepper in you, though. Can your own urine and all
amount.
that. Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, can your urine. You gotta save it, right?
No, that was a really interesting point in the review. But also, you mentioned another aspect of this collar, and you and I went off about this when you were first telling me about it. You said it counts your dog's steps.
Yeah.
Why the hell do you need to count your dog's steps?
That one also kind of makes me shake my head a little bit. It seems like it's sort of an added bonus feature in my mind. Like it's one of those things that they add an accelerometer so they can count how many steps it takes. I don't think that's a very costly piece of the puzzle. I personally, if they offered it without that feature, I would be fine with it.
Right. But my fear is this opens the door to other products that are completely unnecessary that just like, is your dog not getting enough steps? Use our little puppy treadmill and
they're
blah, blah,
out
blah,
there.
blah, blah.
They're out there already. The pet fitness tracker is a thing. I kind of stumbled into that world doing research for this. I don't really know. And I've read a few other articles about it where people have said that there aren't a lot of studies that have been done to say, like, your pet should take this many steps a day. There are actually...
please don't waste money studying that.
There are a few that are in the works right now. There is another company, which I believe is called Whistle, that makes a similar product and has commissioned a study to find out how many steps a dog of various types should take.
So I'm going to buy the study about whether or not your dog needs to get more exercise commissioned by the company that wants to sell me something so my dog gets more exercise.
Right? I think it's pretty easy to tell. If your dog's whining and running around ballistically in your house, it probably needs more exercise.
Dude, this is like that study that McDonald's funded that showed the oil they fry their fries in prevents baldness.
Yeah, you need 10% more fry oil to improve your fitness each day. It does reek a little bit of that type of study, but if the results come out and we all find that dogs need an extra 10% of petting each day.
I have the ultimate dog fitness tool. It's called Stick.
Stick.
And I'm going to gather sticks and I'm going to sell them online and watch. Your dog will run day and night. Yeah. Just throw Stick. It's simple to use. It's ergonomic. It fits in your hand.
Maybe you should market one of these. You could get a stick company. Just carve the right stick for each dog.
It's ambidextrous, so whether you're right or left-handed, Stick works, and your dog will love you and be more fit than ever.
Need a list of features and benefits.
God, I'm turning into you. I'm like an old man. I dislike everything.
It's Friday.
It is Friday. Those are our topics. Before we bounce out, is there anything on your agenda? Any products you're looking at that you're excited about for the week to come?
Boy, yeah, we did a video that we just finished up yesterday, and I think it's live, but we have to still post it on GearJunkie about Work Sharp's newest knife sharpener. It's a pretty sweet product, and it's very simple. It goes back a ways from their powered ones to just a very simple angle honing tool, and it works really well, and it's really easy to use. Nice. I'm kind of stoked about that. I think it's called the Angle Bench Sharpener. That one's been fun.
Look for that on GearJunkie. Kirk's going to edit that up. I am going to fly to Moab, ride mountain bikes, and I'm going to try some new Hydro Flask product. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what it is yet, so I have to leave everybody in the dark, but there's some cool new Hydro Flask product that I'll be trying and ultimately writing about, so stay tuned for that.
I'm jealous of that one.
GearJunkie.com. Sean McCoy, I'm Adam Ruggiero. We'll catch you next week.